What's up? Welcome back to Trash Man MMA, and today we are going over UFC 318 Holloway versus Poirier 3. I'm gonna bring you all my picks. I'm gonna bring you all my predictions. I did this extremely last minute. I don't know what's been going on, man. I'm slacking hard. I'm slacking heavy. I'm sorry, but hey, today we're gonna get into all these fights, and I did some decent research. And hey, chat, I think we going. I think we going 100%, man. I don't know how many fights are on this card. Probably like around 13. I think we going 13-0, bro. Just saying, I think we got this in the bag. I'm pretty confident in all my picks, especially the main event. I know I got this down to a T, but without further ado, let's get to the first fight on the card. Charlie Giudice versus Nicole Kalari. Uh, Carly has two decent split losses to actually pretty good comp. I think it's something Fernandez, the girl who fucking rear naked choke fucking what's that Joker girl? She subbed her in like the second round. Um, I'm not gonna lie, I can kind of sense an upset with this one, but it's unranked WMMA. I'm not gonna go for the fucking underdog. I will be going for the heavy favorite of Carly Giudice, who I'm not too sure how much of a favorite she is, but I know it's a pretty. I think she's like a plus or minus 400 favorite. So I'm going Carly Giudice by unanimous decision. On to the next fight: Bruno Ferreira versus Jackson McVeigh. Bruno's pretty good. Bruno's pretty damn good. I don't know why he's so low on this card. He's actually like ranked comp worthy. He had some really good wins. His losses. Now I'm not gonna lie. I lost to I forgot who that. I forgot what that one guy name is. Nursultan Ruziboyev. A loss to Nursultan Ruziboyev isn't the best. And I forgot who else he lost to. Oh, Abu Smagomedov. Those aren't the best losses, on to be honest, but his wins are really good. He has wins over freaking Gregory Rodriguez. Now that's about all you can say, but he had another good showing against some other people. But I think he is ranked worthy, and I think making Jackson McVeigh super green. Like I genuinely don't know what he's doing, taking on somebody who is this like how should I say evolved into their career as Bruno Ferreira, who's like I don't know how many fights he's had in the UFC, but I feel like this is kind of just a setup for Ferreira. Jackson McVeigh was coming in on short notice against I believe he was coming in on short notice against Cedric Dumas, and Cedric Dumas ended up pulling out. They rebooked him against somebody else on like 9 days notice. That guy accepted a fight, couldn't make weight, and now here he is, Jackson McVeigh, being put on a pay-per-view for his first fight in his career, which is really interesting decision making for the UFC. But I'm going Bruno Ferreira. He's a minus 575 favorite for a fucking reason. Jackson McVeigh green. Bruno Ferreira is a finishing machine. So I'm going Bruno Ferreira. Uh, First round KO, I'd say. Yeah, first round KO. I don't know what's going on here, but we won't spend too much time here. Honestly, it's a fucking Tard versus Tard in this fight. We got. I, I have to go Span by default. I don't want to, but I literally have to. Lucas Brzezinski is 1-5 in the UFC. It's not bad comp that he's went up against, but it's just you should be able to squeeze out more than one win in your fucking 6 fights. He shouldn't even be in the UFC right now. He should be cut. Span, he's really dog shit. He lost to Oven St. Preux, and then he went up to heavyweight, and then he lost by KO to Waldo Cortez Acosta. He at least made it to the second round against Cortez Acosta, so that's why I'm going Span. This fight is a pick'em though. This fight is a 50-50 fight. Don't bet on this fight, dude. But I'm going Span by honestly unanimous decision. I think this fight's gonna be a fucking bore fest. I don't think there's gonna be a finish in any capacity here. Both of these guys extremely unathletic, extremely just they're just rejects. So I'm going Span unanimous decision. Lackluster unanimous decision kind of ruins the card for a little bit. Uh, On to the next fight. Jimmy Crute versus Marcin Prachnio. Now, honestly, this one's hard. This one is hard. Prachnio's not bad. He had a good showing against a good showing against Modestas Bukauskas in his last fight. Dude, it was fucking so long ago. It was like the Leon versus Bilal card. So long ago, damn near a whole year ago. Uh, I probably will be a whole year ago by the time this fight takes place. Actually, no, it's shy of like 10 days, I believe, or 9 days. Um, Yeah, Crew. I mean, honestly, I don't really know what to say in this fight. I am going Crew. I think he's good enough to get a finish. He's recently he's looked extremely lackluster. He's going to draws against competition that he shouldn't be going up against. Alonzo Manyfield, and who's this most recent guy that he went to a draw with? I forgot his name, but you guys know who I'm talking about. I just uh, who is it? Rodolfo Bellato. Rodolfo Bellato. He went to a draw against Rodolfo Bellato. I just think he's good enough. He's good enough, you know. Marcin Prachnio, he all he's really shown is that he had a good showing against Modestas Bukauskas, where he landed one good high kick in the third round that rocked Modestas. But I'm going Crute by either second round submission or ground and pound finish. Like I said, I think he's good enough to get the finish. I think he's dangerous enough. I think he'll be dangerous enough. More dangerous than Marcin Prachnio, at least. What the fuck is on my leg, dude? What the hell? Crazy. Alright, on to the next, though. I don't really want to get hung up on these fights too long. I mean, nobody really gives a fuck about these. We're going Adam Fujit versus Islam Dulatov. Look, Fujit, shit comp. He's 2-2. The best thing that he's done in the UFC is lose to Michael Morales. If we're being brutally honest here, I guess he's hard to finish. He got subbed in the second round by Mike Malott and in the third round by Michael Morales. That's genuinely the best he's done is survive multiple rounds with Mike Malott and Michael Morales. But other than that, he had a win over somebody who's 6-3, and then he has a win over Josh Quinlan, who immediately got cut and then subbed in the first round on the fucking regional scene. Like, Islam Dulatov has a 100% finish rate, 6 by KO, 5 by submission. I'm going first round KO by Islam Dulatov. I don't see why you should be going Adam Fujit. Hardcores might be able to. Oh, dude, you're picking Islam. You're not picking Adam Fujit, who's 2-2 in the UFC. You know they're gonna try and out hardcore you. They're gonna convince you that that 2 inches of reach advantage Fujit has is meaningful in any way, shape, or form. But Islam Dulatov actually has okay like regional scene competition. So I'm going Islam Dulatov round one KO. Or round one finish, but I honestly do believe Adam Fujit is he got subbed by Michael Malott. Never mind, we're going round one finish. This fight is not seeing the third round. On to the prelims. We're going Atiba Gutierrez versus Robert Valentine. Um, I'm going Atiba. Atiba. I don't know why Robert Valentine is in the UFC. He lost his Ultimate Fighter fight to get into the UFC. He got subbed in, I believe it was the first or second round by Ryan Loader. What a fucking can. He just hasn't shown anything. I will admit though he did get robbed in his last fight against with Finney. Something. What's his first name, bro? Terrence Finney. I think it's Terrence Finney. But he got robbed against Terrence Finney in that fight. I'm not gonna lie, he did do more damage, and all Finney did was kind of literally that was the worst performance I've ever seen in the UFC, bar none. And if you watch that fight, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It was the worst performance of any wrestling fighter I've ever seen, bro. Terrence Finney, that's not his name, bro. I don't know his name. Finney actually made Habib's worst fight look like he was Joshua Van. It was insane. It was the most embarrassing performance by Finney I've ever seen. Um, but with that being said, I do believe Valentine. He's like a Yuri with no chin. Like, I haven't seen anything from him to make me believe, okay, this guy is actually like good. He's getting held down by Finney. He's getting finished by Ryan Loder. Like, why is this guy here? He's 0-2 in the UFC, and I believe after this fight he's gonna be 0-3. I do think Ataba can finish him before the third round. Maybe not round one finish, although actually I could see Valentine getting slept out cold up against the fence capoeira style. Modestas versus, how do you say his name? Carcera? Capoeira? I think it's Capoeira versus Modestas Bukalkis, when Modestas is throwing fucking left, right, left, right, left, right. And then Capoeira just gets slumped down to the floor. I can see that happening to Robert Valentine in this fight. Atsuba, I'm not going to say he's a world beater or anything. All he's proven in the UFC is that he can finish a fat Mexican, which, I mean, hey, you finished him at least, but dude was jiggling out there. He was jiggling at range. It was just an embarrassing performance by Medina, I believe his name was. So I think Ataba Gutierrez, physicality wise, is good enough to finish a Robert Valentine in the second round up against the fence. Honestly, kind of in a brutal fashion, I think. On to the next, though. Francisco Prado versus Nikolay Veretnikov. I will be going Nikolay Veretnikov. I just don't think Francisco Prado's a welterweight. This guy genuinely looks like a featherweight. I can't see him doing anything in this fight to really hurt Nikolay. I know Nikolay is also hasn't had the best performances in the UFC. I believe he's 0-2. But it's not the worst 0-2 record I've seen in the UFC. It's can I please click on his name? It's not a Robert Valentine 0-2, He lost to Vanderford, which I actually think is pretty good. He had a split decision to Danny Barlow, which again I think is pretty good. I believe Danny Barlow did get slumped out by Patterson. So recently, look, it is what it is. But it's actually a decent 0-2 record in the UFC, I believe. I just think Francisco Prado. I mean, honestly, you look back at his losses now, and they're not too bad. Matthews and Daniel Zellhuber. Look, they're not the worst losses of all time. Obviously, it's not a bad few losses to have, but he's quite literally a midget at 175. I believe Nikolay Veretnikov. Well, actually, yeah, 3-inch height advantage for Veretnikov, 5-inch reach advantage for Veretnikov, 6-inch leg advantage for Veretnikov. I just think Veretnikov has the tools and capability to finish literally a featherweight Francisco Prado. So I'm going Nicolay by unanimous decision. On to the next fight. Marvin Vettori versus Brendan All-In Allen. Flip a fucking coin, really? No, I'm joking. I'm going Allen. Even though Allen did lose to Chris Curtis, I believe, even with that leg injury, I don't think a random leg injury that you get from standing up should be counted towards Brendan Allen. But it was, and he got the nod. He has really good grappling. He subbed Paul Craig, which I don't think enough people really give enough credit to. He was actually doing quite well on the feet as well. But I mean, that's nothing to really smirk at, But he subbed Paul Craig. That's something that I hold in high regard. And Vettori is just like an inactive tard. He doesn't do anything. He hasn't done anything, and he will not do anything. There's nothing that he does do. Tell me one thing that Marvin Vettori does do besides take a shot. I actually think Brendan Allen can be one of the first people, or be the first person to finish Marvin Vettori. I think he can take him down, and I think if he gets him in like an arm triangle or something, Marvin Vettori is just gonna like not know what the fuck is going on. I don't think Marvin Vettori trains grappling whatsoever. I think he's just gonna sit there and just like grunt while getting submitted. Like Brendan, like he's actually not gonna do anything on the ground, and I think it's actually gonna be quite crazy. The just like the leagues that Allen is going to show in the ground game, in the grappling. I think it's going to be a little hard to get Vettori there. He does look like a guy who has brick wall takedown defense. but who knows? But Allen might just stand and bang with him like a tart. I don't know, but I think if he has any brain cells left in his noggin up there, I think he will take the fight down to the ground, and just will, like, I don't know, do like a heel hook, something that Marvin Vettori never seen before in his entire life, and I think he can submit him, honestly. I think with Allen by sub or unanimous decision is a good way to go if you're betting. Uh, I just think it's gonna be so funny. I feel like Vittori's just gonna be there, like quite literally, like on the ground. I think it's actually gonna be like a hydrogen bomb versus coughing baby. Like, what is Marvin Vittori gonna do on the ground? Genuinely, has this guy actually ever? Does he even know what a rear naked choke is? I'm like convinced he doesn't know grappling is a part of fucking MMA. But I'm going Brendan Allen. I think he could be the first to finish Marvin Vettori. So I'm going Brendan Allen by us. Second round sub. Not okay. I won't say sub, but either a sub or unanimous decision. I don't see a world where he finishes Marvin Vettori. I mean, does anybody really finish Marvin Vettori by chinning him? I don't think so. Potentially Ataba Gutierrez, maybe. That's just a wild one out there, Hot take, I guess. Uh, but yeah, Brendan Allen, sub or unanimous decision. On to the next, Kyler Phillips versus Vinicius Oliveira. Uh, what I just there. I mean, I don't want to say think, because it's an undeniable fact. Vinicius Oliveira is just a more dangerous Rob Font. Like, if Rob Font can just like put hands on you for 3 rounds, I think Vinicius Oliveira can KO you in one. I don't think there's anything Phillips can do to impose his will. And if you do think he can do something to impose his will, what? What will Kyler Phillips do to impose his presence on Vinicius Oliveira? Now, although they are relatively the same height, I do think Vinicius Oliveira is just going to be the much more imposing out there. I think he's going to have better ring control. I think he's going to be able to cut off Kyler Phillips, who I don't believe has the best footwork. Um, but Phillips does have decent, I guess underrated wins. We have to call them now, like Ronnie Barcelos and Song Yadong. Like, these are wins, especially the Song Yadong one. I mean, that's a pretty damn good win. But these wins are already years ago. He beat Ronnie Barcelos 2-3 years ago. Song Yadong 4 years ago. You know, and as of recently, I think Oliveira's wins over Saeed Nurmagomedov and Ricky Simone. I think those are pretty damn good finishes. And a win over Bernardo Sopage, but that was a debuting guy who actually was put in work on Vinicius Oliveira. I just don't think Kyler Phillips can really press him up against the fence, and I think that's where he'll have the most success. I don't think he'll have any success on the feet or at range or in dirty boxing range. In the dirty boxing range, I think Vinicius Oliveira, if they do get in a clinch scenario up against the fence, I think Vinicius would be launching nasty knees to the body, elbows up against the fence, nasty body work. Maybe not body work, but knees to the body, elbows up against the fence. And I think Oliveira is just going to walk him down and KO him in the first. I don't think there's anything Kyler Phillips can do to really stop Oliveira, if I'm being brutally honest. I'm going Oliveira round one, KO or sub. I think he has what it takes to get a arm triangle. But all right, on to the main card. Michael Johnson versus Daniel Zellhuber. The matchmakers knew what they were doing with this one. Come on, dude. Come on, dude. I get it. Michael Johnson is on a 2-fight win streak, but that genuinely means nothing. Daniel Zellhuber had a great showing against Esteban Ribovic last year on the, what was it, 308 O'Malley versus Dvalishvili card, the Noche card. The fight of the night, it was a fucking absolute war that he had with Esteban Ribovic. And I think if he can take haymakers off of Esteban Ribovic, I just don't think Zellhuber's dumb enough to just prod into range, head forward, launch, like just exchanging wild blows, and I just don't think he's that dumb. I think Michael Johnson relies on dumb fighters to do that. Like I forgot what the name of his last opponent, but like Daniel Zellhuber, I think he's gonna pit pat at range. He's gonna engage when he wants to. He's not gonna really get lulled in by Michael Johnson. Michael Johnson, I don't think he has an IQ that's measurable by any test. It's just like dead. Who wants to see a dead body, dude? Johnson is an overhand merchant. He's reckless. He's dumb. He just goes forwards and trades, and I don't think Daniel Zellhuber is dumb enough to do that. Uh, I think Daniel Zellhuber can get a finish before the third round. I don't think he gets a sub, or he could honestly. He could get like, I don't know, fucking flying triangle. Who knows? But I think he gets a KO before the third round. I don't. I mean, this hydrogen bomb versus coughing baby again. Like, come on, what is this, bro? What is this fucking matchmaking? On to the next. Dan Ige versus Patricio Pitbull. Um, Now this is a little difficult. Uh, if you're just looking at it stylistically, this is a bit of a hard fight to pick. But if you're looking at it from a realistic standpoint, Dan Ige is a UFC fighter damn near in his prime. He's like 33, 35. Patricio Pitbull is a, no kidding, 38-year-old washed Bellator fighter. I get it. He didn't get finished by Yair Rodriguez. I do believe Yair Rodriguez was playing it safe in that fight. He didn't want to get too wicked. He didn't want to get too wild up against a debuting opponent. Yair Rodriguez isn't the type of fighter to take risks when he's up. Um, I think that just goes to show with him not taking a fight against Diego Lopez or Gene Silva. Uh, and I think Patricio, like what has Patricio shown, bro? Dan Ige has shown that he's top 15 caliber time and time and time and time again. Uh, what does Patricio Pitbull do that goes to show? Oh, hey man, this guy, he can hang. What has he done? What has he done, dude? He got slept in the first round like 2 fights before his freaking UFC debut. Like, are we really putting stock in this guy? He's shown nothing. He's super unproven. Like, I'm sorry, Dan Ige's never been finished before, and you expect me to think a washed 38-year-old Bellator fucking reject is gonna come in here after getting masterclassed by Yair Rodriguez? You think I'm gonna pick him to finish Dan Ige? No, I think Dan Ige is gonna on a fucking marauder max against Patricio Pitbull. Uh, I'm going Dan Ige unanimous decision. I can't see him finishing Pitbull. I did say he did get finished like 2 fights before his UFC debut, but I do think he's actually good enough to not get finished. I don't think Dan Ige has the most pop. I don't think he's gonna freaking go out there and rear naked choke Patricio Pitbull, but uh, I'm going Dan Ige unanimous decision. 30-27, honestly, masterclass by Dan Ige. Hopefully Patricio Pitbull gets cut. And then onto the next fight of the card, which is Kevin Holland versus Daniel Rodriguez. I'm going Kevin Holland. Uh, I've seen some people's prediction videos. Honestly, this week I've kind of been lackluster when it comes to UFC. I know it's fucking Dustin Poirier retirement fight, but I haven't really been too locked in on anything news related. But I see some people hesitantly picking Kevin Holland. I see them picking Kevin Holland by unanimous decision. I believe Guru picked Holland by unanimous decision. And I just think that some people are getting wise to Kevin Holland. Uh, what's his name? Kenny Okoye is getting wise to it. But Kevin Holland is losing to championship level fighters. He's losing to RDR, Hamza Chimaev, JDM. Yes, he lost to Roman Dolidze by fucking I don't know, a rib dislocation, but that's at 185, severely outmatched, outsized, outgunned at 185. He's actually taking his career seriously now at 175. He's just his loss, his competition is leagues better than anyone Daniel Rodriguez has ever faced. Great championship level losses. He's, like I said, he's actually taking fighting seriously now. Bro, Daniel Rodriguez was getting pieced up by Ponzinibbio. He was getting pieced up by Morono. I can't remember if he lost that Morono loss, but I believe it was a split decision. I think he lost that fight. Maybe he won it. I can't remember. but he was getting pieced up by Ponzinibbio before he got that KO in the third round or second round, I want to say. But that was a close fight he was having with Ponzinibbio. Holland's not gonna be a reckless fighter. He's actually pretty good. He's good enough to make people select shots. Daniel Rodriguez got finished by Neil Magny. He got finished by Ian Gary in round one by just low kick, low kick, low kick, oh, head kick, oh, knocked out. You know what I'm saying? Like, Kevin Holland is leagues better than Daniel Rodriguez in every aspect of the game. If Neil Magny can finish you, Kevin Holland can fucking ragdoll you and turn you into a pretzel and sub you 5 times. Okay, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but you know what I mean. Kevin Holland is actually just leagues better than Daniel Rodriguez. I don't know what type of matchmaking this is. I don't know why they even gave Daniel Rodriguez a ranked opponent. I can't remember, but I genuinely want to say that he lost to Alex Morono. Can we fact check? Can we fact check that? Daniel Rodriguez, searching it up right now. Did he lose? Okay, he won. He beat Alex Morono. Man, fuck that shit, bro. I don't give a fuck. You beat Alex Morono. Suck a dick. I'm going Kevin Holland by first round KO or sub. I think KO. I think he can put out Daniel Rodriguez lights out. But I mean, I think he can knock him down and sync up a sub real quick. He has a very quick Darce choke. Almost akin to Islam Makhachev. I'm just saying, bro, who wins? Islam Makhachev or Kevin Holland? No, I'm fucking with you. Onto the co-main event of the evening, though. Paulo Costa versus Roman Kopylov. I don't really know what to say of this fight. There is noticeable different levels of comp between Paulo Costa and Roman Kopylov. Paulo Costa facing Sean Strickland, Robert Whitaker, Izzy. He's just facing these types of opponents. And I know you could say, oh, what about Marvin Vettori and fucking what's that other guy's name? Fuck, y'all know who I'm talking about though. And I get it. He hasn't really shown anything recently, but Roman Kopylov doesn't really have the best wins himself either. He has, like, genuinely, if you had to point out, okay, what's Roman Kopylov's best win, it's Chris Curtis. And look at what Chris Curtis just did at 175. You know what I'm saying? So how much stock are we really putting into that Chris Curtis win? He did get a good win over Almeida. I believe he resorted to grappling in that fight and got a split decision over Almeida. But honestly, I'm going Kopylov based off of, quite literally, I'm not even going to lie to you. I'm going to casual max so hard right now. Based off of absolutely nothing and hype, I'm going Roman Kopylov. There's nothing that Paulo Costa has shown me to get wins. At least Roman Kopylov is getting wins. And he was also tweaking out the fucking. He was tweaking, dude. This guy's on coke or something, bro. I get it. Maybe it was just a weight cut. Who knows what it was? But this guy was actually tweaking out at the fucking press conference. I'm going Roman Kopylov by absolutely nothing. I don't think he's gonna get a finish over Costa. I think he will get a unanimous decision win over Paulo Costa. What the fuck? On to the main event. Max Holloway versus Dustin Poirier. Man, what a weak fucking card. Holy shit. What a weak card. I think it's gonna, don't get me wrong, I think this card is gonna really perform. I think there's gonna be a lot of finishes. I think there's gonna be a lot of finishes on this card. Maybe not, but I think there's gonna be enough to satisfy fans. But just name value, man. This card fucking reeks. Like, we're already at Holloway versus Poirier. But hey, let's just get into it. Max Holloway versus Dustin Poirier. Max Holloway's different now. Officially made up the move to 155. Permanent move. Never going back to 145 ever again. Put on the proper weight this time. Bulked up as much as possible without losing his speed. Lighter man skill. He's quick. He's dynamic. He can shoot shots from different range. I get it. He may have a questionable chin now. But, I mean, Dustin Poirier is not like the hardest hitting 155er there is, Don't get me wrong. He has some pop in his shots. But I think Max Holloway has shown that he has equal amount of pop at a lower weight class as well. I believe they have the same amount of finishes in the UFC. Same amount of knockouts. So there's nothing really points to me that Poirier has a distinct power advantage over Holloway. I think in that second fight, the reason why he was kind of just like pushing Holloway around with his shots was that was it. That was a Holloway. That was muffin top Max, dude. Look the way he was built in that fight. He looked awful. He looked fat. He was chubby in the cheeks. He literally had love handles hanging over his shorts. I get it though. Dustin Poirier looks to be in the best shape of his entire fucking career. I don't know why he's just locking in now in his fucking retirement fight, but guys, Poirier, he not only is this his retirement fight, not only is this his last fight in the UFC, but he's already looking past Max. If I'm being honest, he's looking at, all right, this is my retirement fight. After this, I'm done. Oh, maybe if I get a win, maybe a title ship fight will bring me back. I don't think that's any way that a fighter should be approaching a fight with Max Holloway, who is on a who honestly, besides the Ilya fight, is on a fucking steamroll. Poirier's just too sluggish. He's not gonna be able to land any shots on him. I think Max Holloway's gonna be darting in and out of range, in and out. Poirier's gonna be throwing shots, whiffing. He's slow. He's sluggish. He had a fucking scrap with Michael Chandler. He had a scrap with BSD. He got finished by Justin Gaethje. I'm sorry, but if you're having a fucking scrap with Michael Chandler, Max Holloway is gonna eat you up for breakfast. I know I'm casual maxing right now, but Max Holloway does nasty things to Michael Chandler. He did nasty things to Gaethje. And honestly, he might fucking finish Benoit Saint-Denis in round one if we're being brutally honest. Max Holloway could get a round one finish over Benoit Saint-Denis. I think if they do get into the clinch, I do think Dustin Poirier can maybe get off good body work. Shots to the body. He was ripping good shots to the body against Islam Makhachev in their fight, but that was like in a few instances. Specifically like one in the fourth round, but which he did have a close fight with Islam Makhachev. I'm gonna say he won. On one judge's scorecard he won 2 rounds, and on the other 2 judges' scorecards they gave him one apiece. So I'm just saying that fight was 2-2 heading into the fifth. That was a lot closer fight than a lot of people give Dustin Poirier credit for. But Max Holloway is lightning faster than Islam Makhachev. If we're being honest, he was lightning faster against Justin Gaethje, and he was doing really well against Ilia Topuria. I think Ilia Topuria fucking cracks Dustin Poirier. I think Dustin Poirier does have the best shot at beating Ilia Topuria at 155. But I think Ilia Topuria still gets it done. But I do think it's his toughest test. But styles makes fights, and I think Max Holloway is going to be in and out, blasting fucking oblique stomps like he was doing against Ilia Topuria. I think he had the layout against Ilia Topuria perfectly. I just think he got clipped a few too many times that a slow and sluggish Dustin Poirier will not be able to do. I think Max Holloway can quite literally push Dustin Poirier up against the fence and have his way with him. Shots up top, shots to the body, shots to... Dude, he could fucking punch Dustin Poirier's leg if he wanted to. Poirier wouldn't even do anything about it. Oblique stomps, rips to the body. 3-piece combination brings it up top. Dustin Poirier covering up. Maybe he throws a big left, a big right like he did against BSD. But Max Holloway, slip, ba 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 ba. I think Max Holloway gets a round 3 volume TKO finish against Dustin Poirier. Sends him off for retirement. It's a sad night in Louisiana. But I think Max Holloway gets it done. And I think after this, you make Max Holloway versus Charles Oliveira. That was a fight I made in a previous fights to make video. Yeah, I think Max Holloway gets it done. Round 3, volume TKO. Like I said, I think I think Dustin Poirier's best chance is to make it scrappy in the clinch. But I think Max Holloway won't even engage in the clinch. And if you think he does, I think he can just shuck him off. I think he can just get hands in between them, push him off, and then get back to his work. I don't see Dustin Poirier being able to drag Holloway into his realm. I think this fight it's going to be dictated by Max Holloway from round 1 to round 5, if it gets there, which I don't think it does. I got Holloway round 3 TKO up against the fence. Yeah. So if you guys enjoyed the predictions, if you guys enjoyed the breakdown, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you're new. I appreciate you guys for watching the whole video. If you did, thank you. Got work tomorrow, but I'm gonna go mad early to get out mad early, set up to watch this whole card. So appreciate y'all. Thank you all for watching. Have a nice night.